Smooth on Radio 2000.
It's definitely DJ Smooth on Radio 2000 with my sister Nati and my brother Lelo. Today I've got a South African legend. A lot of you guys would know him from his career spanning over a decade, actually even way longer than that. We had a very interesting interview on the podcast on the Hustler's Corner with Mama Ria Letwaba, and he was talking about him as a 14-year-old. Or since he was 14, this man knew what he wanted to become, and already at 14. What a great interview we had with Mama Ria Letwaba. Guys, his resume is very, very long. I can take the whole day introducing him to you, but he's a household name in South Africa. Radio 2000 listeners, welcome, Mr. Teko Modise.
Hey, Teko.
Shapo jonga Teko.
Shapo,
It's good to see you, bro. Thank you.
No, my pleasure, man.
Kalebo man for Inshallah round. You know, I've been looking for our interview since I think it was last year or the year before.
Yeah. Last year.
I think it was sometime last year. Yeah. But eventually it has happened, and I'm glad it has. You know, and I just wanted to hulebohana koya how.
Man to invite me and finally making time to actually be here.
Yeah. So now I've just started radio now recently about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad that you're pretty much our first guest.
Really?
Official guest. Yeah.
Oh wow.
On our digital platform as Radio 2000. So
thank you very much, man. Thank you very much.
You know, when I spoke to Mama Ria, when she was telling me about stories of Machita when they were still kids, when they were still teenagers, you know, it took me back to back in the day. So you talk about football and what's going on and blah blah blah. But I mean, I've never heard your story apart from the book.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd like to hear it from the horse's mouth, you know.
Okay.
I
was born in Midlands, Zone 7. And then I think that's where everything started for me, like the love of the game, because I mean everyone is playing football on the streets, Kokasi, and you join too many teams because you're trying to find yourself, and you join in teams because your friends are playing there. And then it was disrupted a little bit because then I started moving around with my situation. My mom wasn't welcome at my great-grandmother's house, so she started moving around, so she took me. And we moved around a lot. So I remember moving as well to Deep Kloof at some point. And like Motsoaledi, that's where we started. Motsoaledi, there's a squatter camp just behind Baragwana.
So you stayed in a squatter camp?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's where we moved to.
Siblings? How big was your family?
I've got a brother and a sister. I'm the last born, Godladly. But
Okay.
my brother and a sister, they're the ones who actually stayed at my great-grandmother's house. So we moved, me and my mom moved. And then from there, I guess, because now I need to study. So I'm working from Motsoaledi to Orlando. There's a school called Orlando where it's Ditawana. So it's like maybe 4Ks. So I'm working there every day to go to school there. But also like scale, I think what made me shy was I felt different. I saw myself different from other kids. I was not a happy kid. But I wasn't mad. I don't know if I was mad, but I was not a happy kid. So because I was always shy.
Why do you say you were not a happy kid?
Because I failed to understand why am I moving so much? Why am I not growing in the same household as my siblings? Why my great-grandmother doesn't love me so much? Why did my dad kick me out as an 8-year-old kid? So those are kind of things that I questioned myself as a young boy.
So your dad kicked you out at 8?
Yeah, kicked me out at 8.
King Nolis Toad.
But at 8, I don't even know.
Yeah, but you can't kick out an 8-year-old.
I'm an 8-year-old. I don't know what happened. He just came from work and then he just told me to pack my bags and leave.
Are you serious, bro?
Yeah. And then
No.
We've got 3 different fathers. So I stay with my dad. I don't remember until I was 8.
Yeah.
And then when he's the guy that introduced me to football. He took me to stadiums and all that stuff because he was a huge Kaizer Chiefs fan.
Oh, the very same guy is the one who kicked you out.
Yeah, he kicked me out.
Now you said he gaming.
Exactly. So I don't know what happened really because unfortunately we never really sat down and had that conversation.
I get you.
Yeah,
but before he kicked you out, how close was your bond, little time?
I was scared of him. I mean, he was
strict.
Yeah, he was very strict. I remember at some point as well when there's Bopres trying to recruit me to come and play for their teams. And once they leave, he will beat me because I'm playing football. And this is the guy also that played the game. You know, it was very, very weird for me. And and as a kid, you know, when you walk into the house not knowing whether you're gonna be bitten or not, it becomes so scary. You tend to be fearful all the time, and that's the household that I grew up in with him. There was like
Yeah, skanga.
yeah. And then he used to say, "Going after school, I need to water the lawn with a bucket until it's so wet that when he put his foot, and then his shoe needs to be wet." So then after school, I wouldn't play with other kids because I need to do that. And I think it was some sort of a punishment, but I didn't understand why. He was just that street guy. Like, he'll do things without explaining himself, and we never really had a conversation. He was just timer so, and that's it. And that's the type of household that I grew up. So I grew up as an insecure kid, you know. And then when I moved out of the house, it became like a street kid of like 2 weeks to 3 weeks, so because I didn't know where my mother was at the time. Because he excluded me, like he nankwalete, so that I didn't know the other side of my family. Yeah, so I think my mom knew about it after 3 weeks, and all that type of stuff. So, and then when she fetched me, she couldn't put me at the same household as my siblings because the great grandmother didn't like me. And then that's when I started moving with her. So I got to get to be introduced to so many stepfathers. And that also the insecurities of trying to please this guy, trying to please my mom because I'm new into her life. I don't know her that well. And kind of balancing that with school as well. You go into school, you don't have the full uniform, or, you know, your shoes are torn. Nobody can buy you anything. And you look around, you're trying to find a reason to go to school, rather, because all the people that are surrounding you, your let me put it this way, like your role model per se, they are guys that went to school but because they're dressing well. So you don't get inspired to actually go to school. So you see all these guys flashing nice things, but and then because you thinking from an empty stomach, you know, and for me, football was the only thing that made me happy. The only time when I wasn't insecure was on the pitch, and from that I became obsessed with the football thing because it really distracted me from the pains that I was dealing with as a kid.
What are some of the songs that you're hearing on the radio at that time? Who are some of the biggest celebrities at that time, at that age?
At that age,
and who are some of the biggest soccer players at that time?
The biggest soccer players at that time, Nelly Doctor. But Dr. Kumalo, your shoes, your Helmet Mkelele's, the '96 era. Those were the guys, and of course when national team were playing or big teams were playing, obviously you go next door, Zamoshabela TV, and get inspired by that. And then also, like, because I was an insecure kid, I would see how what Dr. shoes made us the winner feel like, I think, after watching the game. So it made us feel good about ourselves. We wanted to emulate them. And for that, I was like, okay, I like this feeling. This guy that I don't know, that I've never met, makes me feel this way about this thing. I wish I can be liked like him.
Doctor was huge at the time. He was huge.
He was.
Grootman, I'm looking forward to a sit-down interview. I can't wait. He's my favorite of all time.
Yeah, he is.
And I've never interviewed him in my life. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm glad I had to work with Doctor. I've told him so many times. I actually read about him in the book. That's how much he inspired me. And sometimes we don't get to give flowers to those people that inspired us. And I'm glad that I had that opportunity with Doctor so many times.
Yo, Joe, it's nice because now we're giving people a timeline as to what was going on in the country, who were the biggest soccer players at the time. I remember Squad Salsa coach Grootman, Ucho Mosono. They even represented us overseas. I remember Benny McCarthy as well.
Yeah.
All the way to France. Get those days, ne?
Yeah. No, but the Doctors are the '96. The Bennies are the '98.
So you showed the decades around.
The decades, yes. Those are the right time. And then I think from the music side, I think the label Chico Twala, So those were the areas. Yeah. You know, every December, every household. Yes.
Number ne color strong.
Yeah. So those were the moments that those are the memories that comes to mind. But also, like, from Motswaledi, and then I had to move to Orlando just to continue the story. And then I had to move to Orlando to another household, another stepdad that I need to adjust to. And in Flopbogor now, when you go to school, people ask you where you stay. And I've always been shy to tell them where I'm staying. So I'll wait for everybody after school, but I'm mine, and then I'll and I'll leave a little bit later because I didn't want them to see Rukidiloko Mtswaledi. And it was kind of embarrassing to come back to Orlando because of now, everybody around that area, say one. So it was like a kind of a shock to them, and also knowing that I have to explain why am I staying here, is he really my dad? So stuff like that. So it made me really, really insecure. It made me like to be able to close off from telling people my stuff. I think that's where it started as a young kid. But like from a social point of view, I wasn't that great. I wasn't like a social person per se, but like that's where my happiness was. And I think that's one thing that really, really, really made me happy. And then I remember as well, while I was still in Orlando, and then I joined the team got Deep Kloof. And then when I joined the team got Deep Kloof, my mom saw how much I loved that team. And then, but this is the story that I found out later. She actually went to the owner of the team, for me to stay there for 2 weeks or so while she still finds a place, and she'll come back and fetch me. And she never did. And I stayed there for a long time. Until I possibly maybe got recruited to go and play professional.
So you stayed there over a year?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
No.
Now I'm moving to Deep Kloof. Like my siblings go Midlands when I was 9 or so.
Yeah.
Then I moved to Mtswaledi with my mom to a different family.
No.
Oh, I've never stayed with my siblings.
Okay.
No,
I get you.
Yeah, so my mom left me there again. So I felt like, okay, history repeats itself. My dad leaves me, my mom leaves me again. Now I'm stuck with this family. Luckily, they were a loving family, Tonga family. So I started learning the language as well, the rules of the household. And then luckily, team, that's why I started playing for that team. And then as much as I'm growing older, joining different teams and all that stuff. So I got recruited while staying in that type of family.
Did you know at the time that you would like to become a professional soccer player one day?
Yeah, I think I was 13 at the time, 13 or 14 at the time, because then I started seeing the progression of players that I played with maybe in the earlier years, or players that I used to watch in the earlier years in amateur, Kokasi, in those tournaments, making it into the professional setup. I was like, and coming back, Kokasi, like driving nice cars, because you must understand, I'm from insecurities of I've never worn anything new, like not even a t-shirt, not even a sock. So now you're coming from that era where you want to feel loved, you want to belong, you want to be looked at the same way that other kids are looking at. And then I had this thing out of everybody that looks at me, they can actually judge and they can see so that was the feeling. And because I've seen these guys, Vilagazi, and there's so many of them, coming there, like even if you see them passing by, the later Banda Levesi, all those type of players, it really, really makes me like go to K-Sharp, which means the only way I got out of here is actually turning pro. So I need to take this thing very seriously. But also because I was a shy kid, I never like really, really liked trials. Like people encouraged me to go for trials, but I was like, I'll go to trials and then come back and say Gifeiti because of like being shy of maybe being around 1,000 kids that wants to do the same thing. Because all I wanted was give me a day or give me a training session, full training session to train with me. You'll see how good I am. But I know that I can't show you how good I am within 15 minutes because 24 of us we're trying to show you how good we are. We can't do that in a space of 90 minutes or 45 minutes. It's really, really unfair. And I understood the dynamics at a young age then. So because of that, I always I could have turned professional very early if I wasn't a shy kid. And then I think that was the stumbling block for me for turning pro at an early age. But luckily, I was forced to go play a game that I wasn't supposed to play. That's how God works anyway. And then it was like I think it was Ria Stars coming to Joburg. And then the late Steve Muguni heard about me a lot. So he just formed a team of 12, 13 players to go play Tembisa. So Ria Stars was playing against Tembisa Classic. So the friendly before that game was Tembisa 11 versus Ria Stars 11. And those were us, the young boys. And then when we were playing, I think I played like 20 minutes. I got substituted. I was so mad. But at that time, I wasn't playing to impress. I just loved the game. I didn't care what after all now, like Ria Stars, the big teams. Like I've never really, really got fascinated by footballers except for Doctor. So I played 20 minutes. I got substituted. After being substituted, Chico calls me to come and sit with him.
Chico is there that time.
Chico Twala, yes. I get it. He was a co-owner with Ria.
Oh, yes, I remember,
Yeah, so Chico calls me there, and then I'm chilling with him, and then I don't even know what to say to this guy.
I know, as a celebrity, he was huge at the time.
Chico was huge.
Yeah.
You know? And then he asked me all these questions, like guy, you know, but I don't go too much. I tell him what he needs to know. And then he tells me like, at 3 o'clock, you're gonna start with the first team. Because I've been lied so much in my life, I'm like, another lie, it's fine. Really, when Ria Stars comes through, at 3 o'clock the game starts and I'm starting. I'm in the same dressing room as Tapalolia, all the guys that played with the Ria Stars, Sam Pam, the big guys. And I'm there shy as a little kid in the corner. I played 45 minutes. Because I was so nervous, I don't even know how I played. I honestly don't remember how I played. But after the game, nobody spoke to me, right? And then Steve Muguni, when they dropped me off, because we were in the taxi from Deep Kloof to Tembisa.
Yeah.
Later on, Steve Muguni, and he drops me off, he said, Chico's going to come. It was on a Saturday. He said, Chico's going to come to your house tomorrow. I'll direct him. Another lie again. I'm saying, okay, it's cool. And then on a Sunday, I'm out doing my own things. I'd say like, it's such a small community. Everybody else. So people started calling me, Chico's at your place. Oh, but I'm shaking. Chico Twala's at my place.
Yeah.
This is insane. This is actually coming to life.
Yeah.
I mean, some guy SLK, drop top, muscles out, vest, you know what Chico is. And then I get there and then I see him and then he speaks to this family. But I told somebody they're having a conversation already. So I'm there and then he actually tells them, I want to take him to Ria Stars. That time is like around June, off season. I want to take him to Ria Stars and then I want him to play professional football.
So Batla umuvela ko Limpopo.
Limpopo, yes.
Sure.
And then they had an agreement because they're not my biological parents. They're like, no, I want to stress. I think at the time I was 17 or something, 16, 17. And then he says to me, on Monday, which is tomorrow, I'll come to your school. To come and speak to your teachers and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm going to school nervous. I haven't told anybody anything because I don't want to jinx it. Because I've been telling people so many things.
And then you get disappointed.
Yes.
I get you.
So
that's why you were so used to disappointment and being lied to so many times.
Yeah.
As a kid already.
Yeah. So whatever you told me, it's fine. If it doesn't happen, I won't get hurt because I never took it that serious because I know. And then this guy actually comes to school, bruh. And then actually what happened was like, and then kukasi assembly. Assembly, wara.
Koskela.
Yeah. Like assembly, sharp. We're going to the classes. So as I sat down, I knew that this guy's not gonna come. I sat down.
Because assembly says
assembly.
Yeah.
And then like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes after, while I was still busy in class, and then there was like emergency assembly being called. I knew. I just felt it.
Yeah.
Then we went back to assembly, and I was one of those guys that's always at the back there.
Yeah.
Shy, quiet. Come around.
Guys, Teko's quiet. Even at the gym, even SAPC, quiet, too cheesy, just oppose.
So yeah, I'm chilling there, and then Chico comes through. I felt like I could hide because I was so shy, because I knew that I was going to be called go assembly because of football.
Yeah.
But I wasn't an interactive person in that sense. Those who knew me very well, they were my classmates. So then Chico calls me up there, go the podium on there to say bye to the school. I was nervous. And then I got celebrated by the school, and then I had to go to all the teachers that taught me, or Gavaya, just to say goodbye, to say my goodbyes. And then I really from there, with my uniform, go back home, pack my bags, and I left that there. I never came back.
I can just imagine Machita libo sister wana ba kena lo na skela. I'm sure now that we are all older, they remember that day.
They do remember. One of them actually worked with her Super Sport. She's one of the camera women. she reminds me of those things, of those moments every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I tell her, Sophie, I am manyane, dude. Like I get shy when I get reminded of that, but it also like it brings so much joy because it really reminds me of actually where exactly I come from.
Humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about your parents. Then you move now to Limpopo. Now they've spoken to your guardian,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
How does the information get to your parents?
It never did.
How?
I mean, at that time when I left, I already have like good 6-7 years and then and if you count back as well, maybe second aloma 10 to 12 years tamalak. So they don't have any information. Even when I was still there, good deep my mom never visited me. None of my siblings, nobody visited me to check if I'm okay or not. So when I left, so when I left, I just left as it is. Like, it wasn't like what I needed to inform anybody. It was just a break for me, and it was the first time I actually left Soweto. The first time getting into a freeway, going somewhere out of Joburg. So for me, it was just a new challenge. But also, I was so used to moving around, used to having different families around me. It was okay for me. I wasn't scared of the new surrounding that I might face. Yeah.
And then you arrive Polokwane. Did you stay in a family? Do you stay in a what was the new environment for you?
Luckily, Ria, and Chico organized a guardian as well because I was so young at the time. So I stayed with this guy, and then Mr. Steve. He was a traffic officer. So he was a nice guy actually. You know, I felt for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged in a family because he treated me so well. He treated me like his kid. And it was just the two of us in the house. And then at some point I needed to move because like you know, and then
sure.
So I need to find myself. So I actually spoke to the management that I needed to move, and that's when I moved to the same complex as other players where they were staying. But I had to share the flat with Abednego Nichodo, who went on to play for Orlando Pirates. Yeah.
Over Steve, no? Or no Plamalen?
I don't know. You know, that's the thing, man. You know, the thing is like, because I'm so used to not staying in one place. It's a bad habit, I must say. Because I'm so used to not staying in one place, I never really make friends because I'm always moving. So it's something that I grew up on. So making friends, for me, it was like a waste of time because of next year because we couldn't pay for school fees. So now we must change school, and now is doing Tswana is my vernac. Now I need to go and learn Pedi. So those are the struggles that I had to go through all my entire life. So making new friends, it wasn't a problem, but keeping them was a problem because I knew that I was going to move anyway. So I think even in that time when I was at Rias, I was when I moved from Brastiv, but he was still a fan. He would come to the stadiums and all that. But it wasn't like a bond. I was still seeing him, looking at him as a father because he was at that age as well. Still looking at him as a father to me. But it's just that it's a father that treated me better than any other father that I've encountered.
Have you ever spoken to him or seen him ever since?
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately.
Did he have any other kids? He didn't.
No, at the time, no. It was just the two of us. I don't think he had kids. I don't think he had kids at all.
If for some reason he might be watching this video, what would you like to say to him?
Oh, man. Jesus. I'll probably cry when I see him. I mean, he welcomed me to his house when he had no business doing that. He wasn't even part of the management team. You know, he was just a guy that loved the game, and he treated me with respect. And I'm sure it was very difficult for him because maybe I was rejecting that because I'm not used to being respected or being treated that well. But he was very patient with me, and he taught me. He taught me things that now in hindsight that I'm actually using these days. Like he would have a proper conversation with me, and not about football. We'll just have a conversation, a normal conversation. Ask me about my day, how my day was, how was the training session, and then what is it that I want to do? You know, where do I see myself, and then how to work on those things. And for me, it was the first time having a conversation with a grown up like that, and I really appreciated him because then. I'm a man of my word, so I wanted to actually keep my word because he was a Ria Stars fan, and I said to him, if I can play more than 8 games this season for this team, I'll be very happy. I'll call that success for myself because I know how difficult it may be to play here because it's not like I've played for any development team. I don't have any structure. So if I can play more than 8 games, that will be it for me. And I think that will be a stepping stone to propel me to become better and better and better and better myself. And then when I moved.
DJ Smooth on Radio 2000.
It's definitely DJ Smooth on Radio 2000. Appreciating my co-host, Unati Nolelo. I'm hanging out with a South African soccer legend. Teko Modise is here. Is it recording? We just want to make sure that everything is being recorded. Sorry about that. Let's continue with the story.
Yeah, so
we're still talking about Brastif in Limpopo. Sure.
Yeah. So Brastif was one of those guys as well. I think I realized his importance when half of the team knew him, because he was the guy never scotched study ticket, because he was a traffic officer, the guy that used to help them getting driver's licenses and all that stuff. So that's how important he was. Go Kutlapong, and you'll get tickets for free. The new jerseys were launched. You'll get those things for free. But just in nature, from a personal point of view, I had that relationship there, and he would give me the curfew. You must be back. Do this. Like I started, but all those things. But I knew them from all the different families that I stayed.
And no Sasokodi says
never. So that's why it was very, very difficult for me to grasp and understand why my dad did what he did, because I neglected. Like all I did in my life, if neglected, it was just to play football, maybe even after hours when I'm not supposed to as a kid. But the street lights are on, but I'm still playing football. That's where you'd find me. And even those ones who I grew up with, they were not surprised to see me where I ended up, because they said I was very obsessed with the game when I was still young. Yeah.
Did you know that you were good?
Yeah, I always knew, because for the fact that as a 9-year-old, there's 3 different teams coming to your house to ask them to play for them, and those were very, very good teams. Because what
are those teams?
There was a Midlands Professionals. And but the reason why Midlands Professionals comes to mind is because I end up staying with that guy again. That's how much I moved. I end up staying with the coach as well. But also one of the team managers for Kaizer Chiefs, which is Gerald Sibego, played for that team. But he played at a higher division more than in. So we never really got a chance to play together. But I used to watch him play, and then it was. When he left for School of Excellence, I think he was still playing for that team. So I took over from where he left off as a captain of the team. So I knew then at an early age, because I used to be recruited a lot to play, especially Kokasi. Like if a team goes to maybe Pimville to play, one of the best teams go Pimville, one of those teams, Kokasi, will come and recruit me, even if I haven't played for them, just to help them become stronger to go playing for them. So for those reasons only, I knew that I was good, but I just needed an opportunity. All my life, all I've always wanted was just an opportunity. Yeah.
And then now, let's come with the story. For me, I'm more on the inspirational aspect of your story, because our responsibility people, even sisters that are going through the most, this life thing, our job is just to inspire others that are looking up to us. And let's come with the story. Then you're playing for Ria Stars now. Chico is also part of the management team, the leadership, Mama Real Doaba, and shout out to my lady. Thank you once again, Mama, for gracing us with your presence.
I mean, now I'm signing a contract. It's the first time in my life I need to sign a document. So we've been called into the office to sign, and
also be like that time, ne?
Next.
Yeah.
So we called into the office to sign. They organized all the stuff for me because I was young and all that stuff. And then I remember, I had an ID, because there was the high school we used to have tournaments about in Coral Brick, so you needed to have an ID.
Okay.
So I had one already. So after that, you sign the contract, and then my contract was like 2,000 a month. I've never had a bank account before. I've never had 2,000 I've never had any cent to my name. And to me, that time was a lot of money, right? Only after 2 months I realized that I had like 2,000. Yeah, but I was very grateful, man, for the opportunity. And I remember even having conversations where the first time I had a conversation with Austria, she said to me, "I've heard about you a lot," because she wasn't a person that really comes to the training sessions. She said, "I heard about you a lot, and I just hope that you become the best version of yourself. And if you work hard as much as I heard about you, normally kids at your age, Batlanko, Soweto, they've got a different mentality, And then when you're so different, I just hope that you make it." And at that time, those are words. They were just words to me, you know. And then in the back of my mind, when she stays saying that, I'm like, hey, just give me a chance to play, bruh. I just want to play.
Yeah.
You know. And then Ria started signing, and then I started learning so much from all the coaches that I worked under. And I've been given an opportunity to play. I remember getting the first call. I remember it was on a Friday. We were playing Saturday at Teko Stadium. And then Chico called. It was still landlines still at the time. Chico called Brastif in the house. And then Brastif answered phone. And then I spoke to Chico. I think it was the first time speaking to him after I left. And then he said, "You're playing tomorrow. Are you ready?" I was like, yo, I've always been ready, but I never expected to be called, right? And then I said, like any other kid will say, I said, yeah, I'm ready. And then we played. My first game was against Vets at Teko Stadium. I think I played like 80-something minutes. I was so ecstatic. I don't even remember the results. I was just happy with the fact that I was on TV.
Yeah.
I was playing.
So you're on TV for the first time.
For the first time, like I was playing, and it was a different experience. I knew that. I think that game actually taught me so much that I knew that there's so much that I still need to learn. I'm so far behind, you know, especially with my peers, both Steven Pinar at the time. There's a lot of guys that were my age at the time that were playing proper football because they have a development background, and I didn't. I was still raw. So I knew that for me to be better, I need to be coached, and there's so much that needs to be learned as well, because I can't just play in Gadi impulse. I just need to learn the game for me to get better, and that game actually taught me so much. But I struggled with that first year with all the games that I played, because I couldn't finish the game, because when I'm nervous I couldn't eat. So the pre-match, I don't eat well. So game me because I'm cramping up.
Yeah.
Because I was so nervous to make it. I was so scared to go back because there's nowhere to go back to.
There's nowhere to go back to.
Yeah.
There are no parents. There's no like official home.
There's nothing.
So you knew this is my only way out.
Yeah. So I need to make sure I make it here. So that's also the obsession now gets to another level. When guys take breaks, long to chill, I'm figuring out how to train. I'm doing road works. I'm doing those things privately as a young kid, because I don't have the background that they have. When people are going home in off season, I'm scared to go because I don't know where to go. So for now, stay go Polokwane with Brastif, even when we're off, maybe another 2 weeks since I'll stay go Polokwane, because who am I coming back to most of the way tomorrow? And that also taught me maybe to accept what it was, and to find ways how to live within the pain that I was going through.
Your parents haven't called that time, or haven't figured out that you're now in Polokwane? Or
No conversation with none. Whether my siblings, nothing. My parents, nothing. So I'm all alone. But because for me at that time, it didn't bother me because I'm alone, right? It didn't bother me because like most of the time I was spending most of the time alone. So it didn't bother me whether I'm isolated, go Polokwane or not. All I was wishing for was like, when are we going back to training? Because I've just missed seeing my teammates around, miss playing, kicking this thing. Because when I'm alone, I get bored, and then I overthink things, and then that makes me very, very sad. So I just want to be happy, and I knew that one thing that makes me happy, it's just be on the pitch. And I'd work behind closed doors, and there's so many guys as well that will bring me up as well to do those extra training sessions. And even the late Spium Konza was still there, part of the team. He'll call me up, he'll come and pick me up with his car, we'll go to trainings and do all those things. Because I was so young, I always had energy. So I always wanted to burn this energy. But it's just that with all the things, now in hindsight, all the things that I was doing, it was actually preparing me to bigger stages. But then I didn't know. All I was doing that for was to survive. I think at that time it was just for survival. Even if this team, let me prepare myself for next season. That time I'm new into the season. Like next season, your Tapelo Liao, your Frank Magua, they're not going to put me on the bench. But I'm going to learn everything that I need to learn from them this season. So this season's my learning season. But I didn't know at that time that Ria Stars was going to be sold that season. But also like me learning, I still need to be put on the pitch to be able to play, to see how far I am, so that I can go back and do my correction and start learning again. So that was a procedure for me that season.
And what happens when Ria Stars gets sold?
I was devastated, because I knew that it only means one thing: I must go back home.
So did they consult you guys before?
Not me. I was too young to be consulted.
Okay.
And then I think we were called into the hotel. There was a meeting there. They told us that the team had been sold. And I think at the time the teams were 18 in the league, so they started cutting them to 16. And then he started calling individuals that had offers already at the time. And then I remember she called me aside and then she said to me, Ajax Cape Town wants you. I'll call you during the week, right? And then we all pack our bags and then we leave. And then I knew at that time the only place to go was at the time my sister was married. The only place to go is to go to my sister's house. And then that's where I went. And then unfortunately, I never got that call. That I need to go to Ajax. I never really got that call. So I waited and I waited and I waited. And because at Ria Stars we had so many friendlies, we played with different teams. And then there was, I remember getting a call from Pito Msimane at the time. And then Pito said, I want you to come and join Supersport. The late Thomas Marikake was retiring. And then Pito, and then because my sister stays in Dobsonville, so I'll take a taxi to Southgate. Pito will pick me up at Southgate to take me to Pretoria and drop me off again when he comes back. But he's still a coach. And then when I get there, the insecurities kicks again. Because now I'm seeing we're the same age, but these guys are regular players. You know, they're national team players, some of them. Some of them, they're superstars. Some of them, when I buy Kickoff magazine, I see them in there. So I'm getting insecure that I know that I'm not going to play. And I didn't want to get into a situation that I was at Ria Stars where I'm training, but I'm not playing. So I want to get an opportunity to play. And I can see that at Supersport here, it's going to be the same issue at Ria.
Yeah.
I started ghosting him. And then I think after that, I don't know what I was, I don't know why I was doing that. Okay, I know the reason why I was doing that, but next time Then I got a call from Sempem because I played with him at Ria Stars. So now he moved to a lower division team.
Yeah.
Then he said, why are you still at home? I'm saying, but I'm still waiting for a call from Ria to tell me to go to Ajax. And then he said to me, no, your clearance is this side. They sold your clearance to Petersburg Pillars at the time. You need to come to Limpopo. I said, but I don't even have money to come back there. And then he said, no, I'll give the owner your numbers, then they'll call you. And then the guy actually called me like maybe 30 minutes later. And then he introduced himself. His name is Mongwe. And then he said to me, he's excited to have me in his team. I'm surprised because I haven't signed anything. He said, I'm excited to have you as my player. When can you join the team? Because we're nearly done with preseason. We're about to start the league. I said, I don't have money for transport. And then he said to me, give me your bank account. Then I gave him and then he deposited 7K. So I've never had 7K in my account.
7,000.
Yeah, deposited 7K. So I'm catching taxis. I'm going to Tzaneen. So it's my first time to Tzaneen, catching taxis to Tzaneen. So now, when I got there to Tzaneen, everybody's been placed in accommodations because they've been there longer. So now at that time, they just placed me at the lodge. And the lodge is not far off from the training session, from the training grounds. And then I get the late Sheikh Skungwane signed. There's a lot of ex-pro footballers that are signed there because the team wants to get promoted to come to the PSL. So they're using the experience that they have.
Shout out Grootman Prasheiks.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the years, all the contribution.
Yeah.
Thank you for the leadership and the inspiration. Danko.
So I get there, and then when I get there, the next day they're playing their last friendly before the league starts.
Yeah.
So the stadium is sold out. It's a small stadium in Tzaneen. The stadium is sold out because there's Sheikh Skungwane, there's Jewel Fire Masilela, there's Roger Fortuma, there's a lot of players everybody knows who they are. So I haven't trained with the team. So they said, tomorrow we're playing, stay here at the lodge. Tomorrow we're playing a friendly. We're going to pick you up at this time. We're going to play a friendly. So now the only familiar face that I had at the time, it's the team manager now, that is the team manager at Morocco Salos, Lasto Lungu and Sempem. So we go to the game. The first half, it's the same situation as I was in Tembisa when I got recruited. So the first half plays the first team. The guys that have been training with the team, the stadium is packed. So now I can see how they like Sheikh Skungwane. I can see how they like Roger Fatumba. I can see how they like everybody else. But I'm saying to myself, they haven't seen me play. I've been waiting for this opportunity. I haven't trained with the team as yet.
Marwati kids.
Yeah. So I'm on the bench. So I come in second. So second half, the players that are coming on second half are players that are initially they're not going to be used that much in the season. So we're coming in second half. Bear in mind, I haven't trained with the team. Nobody knows who I am. I killed the game.
Yeah.
And then after that game, I think it was Saturday or Sunday. After that, on Monday, because Zanini at the time, I think it was just a small community. Monday, everybody was talking about my name. Everybody was asking who I was. I was called into the office, and then Mongo said to me, we need to sign a contract. I said, okay. I'm like, okay, I've been in this position before. I said, okay, Shapa, how much are you offering me? And then he says to me, the highest paid player in the team is earning 14.5. At the time, it was unheard of in the lower divisions.
Yeah.
He said the highest paying, because those were salaries of the PSL players. He said the highest paying paid player in this division right now in my team is 14.5. I'll give you 14.
Yo.
Yeah. He said, I'll give you. And bear in mind, I'm still
And would that live like I want?
it's like over 5,000 or something from the 7,000 that
Yeah.
they
Plus,
said to me.
also trialing you.
Yeah, actually trialing you anyway. And then he said, no, I'll give you 14. And I thought he was joking. Then he signed a contract. And then he signed a 2-year contract. He said, I want to get promoted either this season or next season. That's why I'm signing you for such a short time. I said, okay, cool. And then
So you already, sorry to disturb. So you already had a plan. I want you to get promoted.
yeah, no, the team had.
Oh, the team had.
Yeah, the team had.
Okay,
They're telling
I
me
get
that.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for now, it's just a learning curve. For now,
Yeah.
it's my development.
Yeah.
I'm getting developed in this process. So and then I'm asking them. So what about my accommodation then? Because everybody's been playing. They say to me, no, stay there until we find your accommodation. I played for that team for 4 years.
Yeah.
I ended up playing for 4 years. I ended up staying in that lodge for 4 years.
Yo.
They never moved me. They bought me 2 cars.
Yo.
They bought me 2 cars.
That's how good you were.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't have done that in J if you're
Yeah.
just an ordinary player.
Yeah. Like they after first game of the league, they called me back into the office. They asked me, "What do you want?" I said, "Because I'm from so far from home, I need transport."
Around the
Yeah. They're like, "Okay, Sharp, there's a guy who'll help you out, car license. Then we'll get you a car." Then they got me. My first car was Tez. So I drove
Wow, Joe.
Yeah.
And how many years that time?
I think I was 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first car.
Waqala no.
Yeah, I'm
Yo,
20.
plus ke caba feeling your back.
Yeah,
Your first car, Joe.
yeah,
Yo.
first car, but like, all the other things. Yeah, I think that was the first time I started having something to call my own. I think that was the first car. Yeah, and then but unfortunately we always fell short in terms of promotions. But we were very, very good. And I think the last season, because even during that 4-year spell, there were teams that wanted to come. They coming for me to play for them, but I didn't want to leave Pilas because of the way the Bantita got thing. And also they were giving me good money. All these other offers were like not really, really good money. And within that space, my great grandmother passes away. I get a call.
Son.
What man?
Makoko Kawati. Yeah.
I'm like, but I don't have any emotions to it. I'm like, okay, cool. But so, but no, you need to come through. I get there, so I'm telling my team, guys, I need a couple of days off. I need to go sort out something. They're like, here's 10K. I'm Bekai. So I get at home. Honestly, nobody could bury her.
Yeah.
Even the kids, and even people that she brought up so many kids, and all of them, they were working. None of them could bury her. And it was the responsibility that me and my sister took. And you know how difficult it is to bury somebody around Easter time because the buses, all of them are gone. So you need to. So the money we spent so much money burying her because we wanted to give her a dignified burial.
Yeah.
But also like now emotionally, I'm not attached. I'm actually mad that I'm using my money to a person that never really liked me. That hated me for that fact. So after the funeral, I was gone. Like immediately when the casket went down, I was gone. I was in the car back to Limpopo. I'm gone because for me it became so painful because then I felt, even though it's a sad thing to say, but I felt used. For the first time I felt used. I was like, okay, now I'm getting called up because I'm total faith, but I never grew up in this house. I never stayed, I never had a relationship with this person. And then where Banabahai Babereka, you know, the great granddaughters, the great grandson, Babereka, so why can't they help out? Why not? But I guess also it was a responsibility that I never understood, that I never knew it was given to me by God. So I came back to Kamobolok, and then I went back to Limpopo. And then, never cried, no nothing. Then Gaspar Nevika Hotel Spani. But that year, it was my last year at Pillars.
Yeah.
So I remember telling them, well, guys, this is my last year, whether getting promoted or not. I'm leaving because I want to go back to PSL because I think I felt ready to come back to Joburg.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to bounce. They're like, okay, cool. But help us to get promoted.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll do the best that I can.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. And then we had that opportunity at that time the cup competition was called Absa Cup, but right now it's Nedbank Cup.
Yeah, I remember the Absa Cup game.
We're playing Chiefs. We're drawn to play Chiefs at FNB Stadium. So a small team, Limpopo, Kaizer Chiefs, it's such a big thing.
It was intimidating, no?
Very intimidating. But it's like,
sort of before Zolapil, still your parents have not reached out?
No.
Even Liko funeral, time already nothing.
I just saw my mom, but
she came to the funeral.
Yeah, she was there. She was there.
Didn't she reach out to you or be happy to see you or something?
I don't remember because I was so mad. Like half of my life was shrouded by anger. I had a lot of anger in my life. Like I was blacked out by anger, so I didn't see things that I was supposed to see. And then because people that I thought they should be important in my life, they were not. So yeah, that's how it was. But then,
and before Tolapil, what has that taught you? Now that we're an old timer, no, what has that taught you as far as parenthood is concerned?
Okay, the lessons that I've taken from that that I'm applying right now is to have conversation with my kids and don't judge or they won't understand. For the fact that I can still remember things that happened to me at 8.
It's true.
It tells you, and now with the new technology, with all these things, so the kids know.
Yeah, the kids know. Kids now, they take pictures, videos,
exactly.
Like those memories are out there.
They're out there, so I have conversations with them.
I get you.
Even at times it's very difficult as a parent to open to your kid, but I try the best that I can. I don't want to be a friend to my daughter, but I need to be a person that she knows that she can call anytime when there's, I'm that guy.
Sure.
Yeah, and yeah, man, trying to do the best that I can. And try if things I can't do, I can't. And then to explain, or in fact, we don't have it like that, So those are the things that she knows and she understands, and she's very, very appreciative of. And like my daughter will tell me things that'll mess up with my mind. One day we went for lunch, we're chilling, just the two of us, and then she says to me, I really, really appreciate. She said to me, I like having lunch with you. Just the two of us. I said, why? I said, because I know how busy you are. And this makes me happy that you're spending time with me.
So she understands.
It messed me up the whole day. So yeah. So
let's go back to the Kaizer Chiefs story. Now you're playing Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah. So now I'm playing.
You're a fan, right?
Yeah, I grew up supporting Kaizer Chiefs. And then Kotlapungda, they take us to Moria, what? They want us to win.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Then we out. We come to Jozi. I know that this is my last season. This game, to me, it's a big game, but it's just another big game for me.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of scouts because our team was very good. I only knew that there was a lot of scouts after the game. So we go to the game, we play. I had a fantastic game. I think I scored 2 in that game. We lost to Chiefs. And then I get a call 2 days later after the game. We were in Limpopo at that time. So game ifitile, we spoke about it. Fedile, we keep moving. I get a call. Bob Steak, Bobby Mdown calls me.
Yeah.
And Fitz, you need to come to Chiefs. I'm like, thank God.
Yo.
I'm like, thank God. This is what I've been working for.
The phone came directly to you.
Yeah. No middleman, no nothing.
And you knew who it was on the other line.
Yeah. He told me. And I was like, thank God, I've been waiting for this. But I couldn't tell him that.
It's something that other people. When I just joined Radio 2000 a month ago, so. I told them, I told people who were asking me that I manifested this.
Yeah.
Like I've been waiting for this call.
Yeah.
So even when Tony called me, Tony's actually the same guy who had fired me then.
Okay.
Right. So it's 10 years later, obviously I've grown and, we learn from our mistakes. And thank you to Tony. Thank you, bro, for making this opportunity happen for me again to come back on radio. I love radio with all of my life. That's why I can relate with people like him who are passionate about something, and he knows that this is so. Anyway, I said to Tony, I've been waiting for this call when he called, so I knew.
Yeah, you knew. Yeah. So then I felt that way, and then I blocked everything out. Again, I'm waiting for Chiefs.
Then that's the first prize.
That's it. I don't need to look anywhere else.
Yeah.
So we finish the season. We get knocked out, maybe one game away from promoted. Now we're back home. Right, I'm going back to my sister's house. Now there's a relationship between me and my sister, so I'm going back home at my sister's house. The first weekend, I'm on the back page of Sunday World.
Yeah,
all 16 teams that are looking for my signature. I think it was the first time I saw myself in the newspaper. I'm like 16, like all the PSL teams. I'm like, okay.
Or after that Kaiser Chiefs game.
After that Kaiser Chiefs
because now this article is about that game.
It's about,
and everybody, actually you shown there.
Yeah, it was the game, because NFD at that time, we were not on TV. So this is the only game that exposed me. So Goka, see, and actually I was just chilling on a Sunday, so people are like, EP2. So we are go. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, booga, they started showing. So I had to go buy a newspaper and read this article about me. And then I knew in my heart what I was waiting for. I knew that I had a call. I knew where I wanted to go, right? But also, like, I can't deny the fact that if maybe Coach Cabozona, who was coaching Golden Arrows, calls me to try and lure me to play for Arrows, I can't say no, because I need to go and speak to him. Like, I'm that professional. I'll go and speak to him. I spoke to Jomo Sono face to face. I spoke to all these guys. Even Beto himself, I spoke to him again because he was still at Supersport. But the person that I'm waiting for is not coming through.
How?
No, it's not coming through. So instead, they send the late Spiel Konza. Like, Spiel calls me, like, I'm in the hood. Let's meet at Southgate. I'm driving, go to Southgate. And then he tells me, like, hey man, Chiefs are about. I'm like, I know. He's like, yeah man, you need to come to the village. Okay, cool. But let them come. Who am I going to speak to? And then I can't just go there and then like, hey guys, here am I. Who I need to go to? Because also that time, 2 days before, I was speaking to Orlando Pirates. I was speaking to Screamer Shabala. So in my mind, it's like I'm speaking to people that matters, management people in those teams.
Decision makers.
I understand that they called you because you played with me at Ria Stars. But I need to speak to somebody who's a decision maker at Kaizer Chiefs. They're like, okay, cool, they'll call you. They never did. Never did. And then I went to Supersport. And then I chose Supersport. Because I wanted to... I think I was disappointed. And I think I chose Supersport because I couldn't go Spitzo again for the second time. So I chose Supersport.
And now,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I chose Supersport. I went to play for Supersport and I played for one season, and then the rest, that's when Teko Modise started. And then I would join Orlando Pirates, yeah.
Yo. Nakitalo cover from Pagani.
Yeah.
And I want you to come with the story. It's coming nicely and it's such a beautiful story. From there, who join Pagani or join Juan?
Hey, Pagani, so go Supersport. I'm doing well, and then I have a 2-year contract with Supersport, so I'm doing well. But now there's a new coach coming in. The new coach comes, which is Kevin Hunt, which we're really, really cool right now.
Yeah.
Like you said, years later you grow, you understand certain things. And then he said to me, I'm not going to use you. I'm not saying you're a bad player, but you're not the type of player that I need. So if there's any team that wants you, you can go. I said, oh, okay, cool. That time there's no team, there's no offer on the table. And then I get a call. At the time, at least, the signally manager. So and I get a call from Trotmulot, Sundowns.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm like, fantastic, Sundowns. So yeah, Bafana style. But at the time, they were just signing my key players. They were not winning anything. But I'm like, it's a big team. It's fine. It's better than Supersport. It's a big team. At least I'll have slight opportunity to play in the finals and all that type of stuff, just to win something. And then this very same day, Mambush, Daniel Mudau, the legend of Malisa Nats, he calls me again. It's very confusing. Like, I'm getting 2 different people calling me from the same company, telling me about the same thing. Like, okay, hey guys, sharp. And then I get a call at 9.
Jumpers.
See you. My manager says to me, don't go to training, go Supersport tomorrow. You must meet Echo Park Town. Okay, cool. Go back town, good guy. He tells me where to meet, and then we met there, and then we went to Orlando Pirates offices. 9 o'clock, I was in Orlando Pirates offices, and then I sat there. I thought maybe we're there to be recruited or something. Dr. Ivan Koza chased everybody in the room. I sat with him alone.
Sure.
There's a big picture there that he had in his office, and then he started telling me about the history of Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes, I fell in love with the team.
Yeah.
That time I haven't signed, I haven't said anything. He just told me about the history of the club, what the club means to the fans.
What did he say? From his
You
mouth.
know how smart he is, but I don't remember the
Okay,
way
it's a while ago. I
Yeah,
get
it's a
you.
while ago. But
Yeah.
but he said those things to me, and then because he never, I think he said something totally different to everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, he never said like, you'll be a superstar here, you'll be this here, you'll be this there. He just told me the importance of this team in South African history. I'm like, okay, cool. Which means if I want to be part of the history, I must join this team. Join this team. 5 minutes later, after that, maybe he told me like 40 minutes to an hour about the history of the club, and then after that, I went to a different room with my manager and the financial guy from Orlando Pirates. I signed the contract, and then they said to me, "Don't say anything. We'll deal with SuperSport." And then 2 days later, it was announced in the newspaper that I was signed. And then I signed for Orlando Pirates. I played my first game with Orlando Pirates was against Kaizer Chiefs, only training once. I trained once with the club. I trained once. And at the time, we were like maybe 70 to 80 of us.
Yeah.
So we used to train on the same pitch and divide it. Others will train on the other side, others will train on this side. It was a mess when I got there because there was a lot of players. But to be given an opportunity around 80 to 90 players, it was for me. I knew, right? Okay, I'm not playing for the team, my childhood team, but I'll make them regret.
Yeah.
Like I'll show them.
Yeah.
And also, on the other side of the coin is I just want to show Dr. Ivan Koza that he made a right choice by signing me. And
I feel the same.
Yeah.
Like rejoining the SABC, I also want to make the people that made the decision to bring me here, I want to make them proud.
Yes.
I want to make them so proud for whoever was probably opposing the idea.
Yeah.
But feel like, no, I think I understand.
Right,
the
I
one
wanna
like
know
feeling
why.
down.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted
get
to
you.
do. Yes, and exactly for that. And I think that my first season for Orlando Pirates, I was just playing for the fans, Orlando Pirates fans, because Ivan told me the importance of them and playing for him. That's it. I didn't care what the coach was telling me because I knew the conversation we used to have. I used to have with Ivan Koza himself privately. So I knew the importance of the team winning. So what the coach will say, and coach, for me, it was like, I've got bigger responsibilities than you, coach. You've got a responsibility to get results. I've got a responsibility for people to buy tickets to come and watch us. People to get excited about the team. You know, team to be on the news for good reasons. So I had a bigger respect. I was given the captaincy without having an arm belt, and people didn't know. And people didn't know because it wasn't something that I was supposed to share with the players.
Yeah.
I was given a responsibility to make sure that the team wins.
Yeah.
Irrespective of what happens, it's my responsibility that the team wins. And those are conversations that I had with the owner of the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around that time, any call again from Bobby, maybe
They
to
can't.
say I had Antoine or whatever, or congratulations.
No, they can't because then it's very difficult. You know the history of Orlando Pirates and Chiefs. It's very difficult for a player to cross.
Yeah, the rivalry.
The rivalry. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess also because there's a team that I grew up loving,
Yeah.
I started having some sort of resentment towards it. And whenever we play Kaizer Chiefs, I'm like, I don't want to bonus.
Yeah, because especially now in Antoine.
Yeah, but
I want to prove a point.
prove a point because like I knew that it was a team that I wanted to play for, but I don't blame anybody because maybe even Bob Stake himself, like I wouldn't mind having a conversation with him because certain things happen.
Yeah, key life. Sure.
Yeah, and I'm glad things happened the way they did. I mean, I wouldn't know if I was gonna play the way that I played Orlando Pirates at Kaizer Chiefs. I really
What
don't
would
know
have happened to your
what would
career?
have happened to my career. But I'm glad that Orlando Pirates gave me that opportunity. And Orlando Pirates actually helped me to get into the 2010 World Cup. If it wasn't for Orlando Pirates, I wouldn't be in the 2010 World Cup.
Is there a game that you guys played and you kind of felt, I have my revenge now? Or Chiefs?
No, I think there's a...
With that childish mindset then,
Yeah, there's plenty of games like that against Chiefs. But one that I'll say made me feel no. I think we were playing in Mabatu Stadium.
Yeah.
I think we always used to have a side bet in Nali Itumelengkune. Then he used to say, I'll never score him. I'm like, go once.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I hit the upright that day. I don't know how many times. And I didn't score. Until today, I've never scored. I think I scored him once.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like intentional to score him at the time. But it was after that game. I remember after that game, the feeling that I haven't had that feeling in a long time. After that game, I knew that South Africa knew who I was. Because I know that the number of people watching the derby. And that's a derby. And to be a top player at the derby consistently, it's something that many can achieve. And for that time, I knew that if I have to be regarded as, because at the time when I started realizing the potential, especially in the PSL, I can be bigger than what I think. The drive was I wanted to be in the same conversation as Doctor. If you just mentioned Doctor there, and then I shouldn't be far off from those type of conversation of people that contributed positively to South African football. So after that game, I knew that okay, I'm on the right track. Even if I don't play any other game, this will be the game that sets me apart.
And you're not aware that now you're still gonna go to the squad.
No.
Yes, the World Cup is in your mind, but you're not aware that you're actually still gonna be way bigger.
Yes. I wasn't aware of anything at the time. All I wanted was like to continue doing what I loved, and with that also now becomes the clash of the personal life, because then when you become this superstar all of a sudden, journalists want to know where you're from, they want to profile you. And like, because my messy background, I didn't want to do those interviews because then it opens up this, these wounds that I'm that I'm kind of close. And then all of a sudden,
that you're still healing from.
I'm still healing from, and all of a sudden, my mom's reaches out, I'm proud of you, tells everybody this is my son. And then it takes me back. I'm like, now it took TV for me to be recognized, and my cousins and other extended family members, they start coming through, and then it becomes a problem now to try and balance that. And I remember also they started running, so now I started having this hatred with the media because they started painting me as a person that doesn't care about my family,
writing in their own narratives,
and they never really bothered to have a conversation with me regarding that.
And I don't think it's you and I only, because I can relate to your story. I'm sure it's a lot of us. And thank you, rest in peace, Ultamalaka, Ntate Ludwig Leope Molatlere, who brought me up. He was a stepfather though. Ultamalaka Laka Mampela, boy, Fox, Mike, same thing, Yeah, Ultamalaka Salanya Malak Sampan Kilentwana. And Ultamalaka Lisha Oversistic Shabuma TV.
Yeah.
So I can relate to your story. That's why we tell ring writing, I'm getting a bit emotional.
Yeah.
I can really relate. And it worries you because all these years, next some money. There's just always been that thing. I wonder where he is. I wonder if we could have had a relationship.
Yeah.
All of these things. Not
Of course.
But because he wasn't there, and the only time he reached out is when it's a club with my friends like these and whatever. There's just that thing, cause no security TV.
Yeah, and it's not a nice feeling though.
It's not a nice feeling because you're actually excited that finally it's happening. Ultama is reaching out.
Yeah.
But then you know that it's not 100% genuine.
No, it's
like
not genuine.
Guy all along.
Yeah, and then it's just there to after that you must know that they want something. After them reaching out, you must know that after once all the small conversations, small chit-chat, they want something. And that's the thing. And that's something that I got to understand, that people come into my life to take. It becomes so sad that that these people are not going to stay. They're just here to take. And because it started way back then when the Teko Modise started, nobody that started with me is still here, because everybody that was there in the beginning, even in the middle, they were there taking stuff. Whether taking a piece of me, whether it's financial, whether it's mental, but they were there to take. Nobody that was there to support. And then I think they're just riding the wave of the Teko Modise thing. They were not really invested in me as a person, because even if they can have an opportunity, this platform that I have now to try and explain who I am, they'll never be. they'll only speak about football because that's the only place where they know me from. And that's the sad thing. If you have to say, your friends have to say something about you and they speak about football. And I always tell them, like, guys, the day that I'm gone, if you have to stand in a podium and speak about me and speak about football, then you don't know me. Because things that are happening in football can be Googleable. Tell people about things that they don't know about me. Tell them about me as a person. Don't tell them about football. And that's always something that I preach to them. I'm like, I know that many people don't know. They know me from a football. Even my family, they know me because I'm Teko Modise playing in the game. But they don't know me personally because there was never time for us to actually connect on a personal level. Even my mom, there was never time to connect on a personal level. Even now, when I start asking a question, we're cool now, but I know there's questions that I'll ask, but I'll never get answers to. So I stopped asking questions, and I started having peace with the fact that what I am today is not a mistake. I think all the hardship that I went through as a kid, maybe some of the things that I haven't said, I don't even want to say here, but all the hardship that I went through as a kid, it actually propelled me to become a little more stronger, more independent, and more driven as well. I think one thing is that, like, I've always been a driven guy. And even though at times I didn't know what was driving me, but I was glad that thing was happening because I was always been driven. Even in difficult circumstances, I'll find a reason to wake up and try again. And this is me without having to have conversations with other people to ask them advice. It's just the thing that I always had in me. I just need to keep going because I know where I'm coming from and I don't want to go back to where I'm from. So I need to keep going.
So I want a longer interview with Teko. I actually would like to sit down with. I would have loved to have sat down with him for 2 to 3 hours. I know he doesn't have time, but what I like is the fact that we've got the Hustlers Corner podcast and then we've got this platform. So all along, ke your management for an interview, and I would really like for us to ring from World Cup so.
No stress.
I know that I wanna Nako is against us, but I also don't want to continue because I know a lot of the things are out there in public, so people do know about your life story in public. But there's so many other things, us as men and us as Machitatswankasi, people who attained fame and what it did to us. You've written books, I've written books, your story, and there's so many other things that I wanted to talk to you about, like men to men.
Yes, sir.
Mchita to mchita, timer to timer, parent to parent. I'd like to end it here, and I'd like for us to organize another interview.
No stress. I'm available. I'll make time.
I can say emotional. I can relate to your stories. Like, I can relate. But maybe before we end it, have you healed? Have you forgiven my old lady? Has she sort of expressed her, I don't want to say apologies, but I mean, motule motu wa gola, from the Flopota from our past.
I've forgiven her long time ago. I think I've done that. I think that's why I became cool, Lena. But I don't think I don't think I'll heal. I don't think I've healed because men, like,
you were pretty much an orphan. You were raised by strangers.
Yeah, I was raised by strangers, and yeah.
Sure. Timer.
I had an opportunity to have a sit down there there was a show that I did, My Visa Takes a Village, from SABC. Yeah. So it was about forgiveness in the last episode.
Yeah.
So I reached out. I told them, the research guys, to find him. Let me show him that I forgave him. Let me speak to him. That was 29 years later. So I sat down with him and he said to me he's been following me. He's been following my career and all that stuff. But at the time when he was talking to me, I was okay with the fact that he never recognized me. He never really accepted me as I was. I think also at the time I realized I thought I was doing it for me, but it ended up being for the show. It wasn't for me because I took nothing from that conversation we had, unfortunately.
You didn't reach out to each other afterwards?
I tried because I arranged a lunch for us to sit together. And here's the messy part about it is he was staying with this other woman. So the other woman is the one that is in control of the phones. So I arranged. We all agree. I confirmed the night before. I'm like, I'll be there at 12. I'll pick him up, and then we go to lunch. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, okay. 12 o'clock, I'm calling. So I'm getting lost a bit. So I'm calling like, hey man, I'm getting lost. I called until, I don't know. Nobody picked up. It just rang. And then I eventually left. I think after an hour I left. And then we never had a conversation ever again, unfortunately.
Sure.
I don't even know whether he's still alive because he was very sick at the time.
And how long ago was that?
Probably still playing. I think maybe 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. Amen. We deal with a lot, guys. We deal with a lot, especially us that grew up in challenging circumstances. I see villages. You know, the black child goes through a lot, especially men. Men to men, I'd really like to have another intense conversation with Teko. I appreciate your time, my brother. You've just made me emotional because I'm so child like a story myself, you know. I can relate.
Thank you very much. And it's like it's not a story that I like sharing because like at times it makes me feel like I'm imprisoned by my past. So I don't like sharing it that much because unless there is a need to do so, unless also like it's an inspirational purposes behind it. If it's not there, then I don't like sharing it because then what's the point? But it's just that I walk in every room knowing where I'm coming from. And then when you say to me like I'm a little bit humble, it's because that's who I am. It's not and even though when people scream at my name, I don't know sometimes what to do. I sometimes forget who I am because I don't take that thing very seriously because now it's just doing what I love.
And well done for not taking the fame into your head.
No. It never did. It never caused me any problems personally. Like that I would say if I wasn't famous, this and this. But of course, fame is talent, which we'll have a conversation about it some other time. But it's just that my life story, there's so much that people can learn from. There's so much that people can take from it because for the fact that I'm still here and I'm having a sit down with you as a former footballer that is still relevant today, I am really, truly blessed. And I know that sometimes I'm being selfish not sharing my story because I went through this journey to be able to share it. And I just want to thank you for the platform that you've given me.
And thank you, bro, for sharing around. It really means a lot out here.
Thank you very
As
much.
I'm saying, you are officially my first guest here. It means a lot. And I've always admired you. I've always admired your journey. And well done for writing a book,
Thank you.
know, for future generations to learn from. But I'd also would like to challenge you to write another one.
Yeah. I've been having those challenges.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'm thinking about it actually. Yeah.
We have to. It's our responsibility. You know.
Yeah.
You know. So sometimes, as you were saying earlier, they might read things, but it's other people's narratives.
Exactly.
It might be the story, but it's not the real truth. It's been twisted somehow to favor someone else's narrative out there. So the reason why it's important to write is so people hear it from us.
From us.
Our
Control your own narrative,
Lena, I've got my own things that are out there in public, and I sometimes don't fight them. I'd rather write my own books. So that future generations from the horse's mouth.
From the horse's mouth, yes, sir.
So please start considering writing another one.
Will do.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, boss.
Sure.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just watched an interview with two legends. A1 Diski, A1 Yomtulo, or a radio or whatever. We love you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Radio 2000, the fastest growing radio station in the country. And I just want to say,